For April Fools, we're going to celebrate, quote unquote, some of the foolishness and some of the fools of the past few months and even some recent in the NFL. So I came up with this. This is actually what they sell. It's a poop candle, and I haven't bought it. I haven't smelled it, but I'm sure it smells like poop. So that's why they sell it. So some weirdos buying it, or as a gag gift, that's right. So let's go to the first one that is worthy of a poop candle. And Sandy B, this is going to be right down your alley here. And this is former head coach Matt Nagy. He ended up with the season 6-11. They could say, well, he spent 4 years there. He went to the playoffs twice. But you know what? This was supposed to be an offensive guru, offensive-minded coach from the Kansas City Chiefs. And their offense never ranked above like 21st in the 4 years he was there. Now, they did have some change. Justin Fields was there, but they still had David Montgomery. They had Allen Robinson. I think they were very predictable. Even with David Montgomery run the ball well, they should have done a lot better. And they had an above average defense there. So, you know, I think the blame lied with him. I've had enough of Nagy. Let's go to the next one. And of course, here's our guy, Brandon Staley. If you watch my Week 18 review, I had him in a clown face. The year before, I slammed Anthony Lynn, the former head coach of the Chargers, about his terrible coaching. And this guy made a huge gaffe at the end of last year's game, the finale game, basically a play-in game of the playoffs. I think Coach Bisaccia and company were going to be satisfied with running out the clock, taking the tie, and going to Kansas City, which would have meant the Chargers would have won in the playoffs as well. But this idiot calls a timeout, so the Raiders say, screw it, we'll kick the field, kicked it, made it, they're out, the Steelers are in. So, of course, he's worthy of a poop candle. Of course, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to throw some Raiders in here as well when they deserve it. And obviously, we're going to start with this guy right here, Dalton Arnett, first-round draft pick corner from Ohio State. A lot of guys, we'll get to some other worthy poop candle holders that were saying that this guy is just as good as Jeff Okudah, who came out, who played on the other side of him in college. To me, this guy was never really had his head in the game. You could kind of see it in his play. It was up and down. And it showed, including this year, if you remember the Pittsburgh Steelers game, big play to Chase Claypool where he landed on the ground, and Arnett just ran right by him. I guess he forgot that you have to be down by contact in the NFL, and he ran by him, and Claypool's like, well, screw it. Got up, ran another 10 yards. I think Mayock got him another 10 yards. He almost got a touchdown on the play. But then, of course, the social media thing with him and waving his gun around saying he's going to shoot people, and he got summarily dismissed, obviously. And then I think he got picked up by the Chiefs and then got waived. So another terrible first-round pick, and we'll get to that in a minute. And, of course, I got to talk about this guy, Henry Ruggs. I don't want to dwell upon it too much. Made a stupid mistake, actually killed somebody, going to be going to jail, ruined his life. It's unfortunate, but it's terrible. But, again, another first-round pick with red flags that was not caught. And of course, I got to put these guys in here, and I got to enlarge the candle a little bit for these guys, of course. And that is John Gruden and Mike Mayock. The previous regime, a lot of questionable picks. And what I say is they picked third round, fourth round players in the first round and vice versa. So, I mean, for every Hunter Renfrow, Max Crosby, you know, they got a Dalton Arnett, a Henry Ruggs, a Jonathan Abram, who hasn't really panned out, honestly, as a first round pick. I know he's been hurt. Josh Jacobs, okay when he's healthy, but he gets hurt a lot too. Again, these are two analysts that came in. It was kind of a Hail Mary by Mark Davis. 10-year, $100 million deal. Of course, we know about the emails. I had to include this guy here because they signed this guy. Not only was he crazy then, of course, he probably has CTE from that perfect hit when he was with Pittsburgh. But then he acted like a fool last year, threw his jersey off and his pads off and ran off the field during the Tampa game last year. So, of course, I would say all three of these guys, but I wanted to focus on the duo of our past regime, definitely getting a big poop candle. Now, I would say the only other duo that might have even a bigger candle, I'm going to give the biggest candle to, in my opinion, are these two idiots right here. This is Daniel Snyder and Roger Goodell. Now, this guy, they were investigating him, and the only thing that happened was they got Gruden out of a job, which is absolutely ridiculous. This guy's had like sexual inappropriate charges where he's been fined $10 million, and he had to, quote, be relieved of his day-to-day duties, which I think is total bullshit. I think he's still there. He relieved him to his wife. Okay, sure. And of course, we have Roger Goodell, the ringmaster, the head clown, of course, because you know why? He's the commissioner. You know who he works for? He works for the owners, including this guy. So conflict of interest, people, come on, give me a break. I mean, this guy's getting to run wild. They took him, what, 2-3 years to figure out a new friggin' name, and the name sucks. Commanders? It sounds like a friggin' XFL team. Top clowns right here overall.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.